Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something special. It's more than just geography, it's a story, an epic story really, about life, struggle, and ultimately hope. We're following the journey of a river. You know, every great story has to start somewhere. And a river, well, its story doesn't start with a big bang or a huge roar. It's actually the opposite. It often begins in total silence, way up in the mountains, almost like a secret being whispered into existence. I love this quote. It just nails it, doesn't it? An epic that begins in silence and ends in celebration. That's exactly it. A river's journey is this massive story that literally carves out the world we live in ways you might not even realize. All right, so let's start at the very beginning. Chapter 1, How a River is Born. And you'll see this mighty force actually starts out as something incredibly small and, well, pretty humble. So where does a river even come from? I mean, a force that can carve canyons. Where does that begin? Well, it starts small, really small. It might just be some melting snow high up on a mountain. Or maybe a little spring bubbling up from deep underground. Or it could be a bunch of tiny little streams all deciding to meet up. Kind of like a curious kid just starting to explore the world. And to put this into perspective, think about the Godavari River in India. This thing travels for almost 1,500 kilometers. And that whole massive journey, it all starts from one single spot at Trimbakeshwar. It's just, wow. It's kind of mind-blowing to think all that power comes from one tiny source. Okay, so once our little river leaves home, it starts to grow up. It changes from just a trickle of water into a genuine lifeline. A force that not only gives life, but literally carves out the world around it. Geographers actually break this journey down into three main parts, which is super helpful. First, you've got the upper course. Think of this as the river's teenage years. It's young, it's fast, it's full of energy, and it's carving deep, V-shaped valleys right through the rock. Then it hits the middle course. This is where it matures a bit, you know? It widens, slows down, and starts making these lazy, gentle bends called meanders. And finally, there's the lower course. It's getting close to the ocean now, and it drops off all the rich soil it's been carrying, creating these super fertile areas we call deltas. And all along the way, this river is alive. Sometimes it's dancing, sometimes it's roaring. It's literally sculpting mountains and valleys. And think about it, civilizations for thousands of years have popped up right alongside these rivers. They're not just water, they're the planet's arteries. So you might be asking, how does it get so big and powerful? The answer is tributaries. The best way to think of a tributary is like a friend joining the main adventure. It's a smaller stream that flows into the bigger one, adding its water, adding its strength, and making the main river that much more impressive. And man, do we depend on them. I mean, look at this list. Drinking water for whole cities? Check. Water for the farms that feed us? Check. A home for all kinds of fish and wildlife? And even a natural highway for boats? Check, check. They are absolutely fundamentally crucial to, well, everything. But you know, every good story has a villain, or at least a major conflict. And for the river, this is where the story takes a dark turn. This beautiful, powerful lifeline starts to choke. And here's the problem. You can see it so clearly in these images. You have the natural, flowing curves of the river, and then, bam, the hard, straight lines of our world. Dams block its path. Factories stand on its banks, and way too often, they poison the very spirit of the river. So that really brings us to the big question for our time, for this chapter in the river's story. What happens when the thing that gives us life gets sick? And what's making it sick? Well, it's all the stuff we add to it. This unwanted cocktail of garbage. We're talking plastic bottles, chemical runoff, raw sewage, oil, even the fertilizers we use on farms that cause all that slimy green algae to grow. All of it, every last bit, ends up in the river, turning it from a source of life into a real problem. The difference is just night and day. It's literally life versus death. On one side, you have a healthy river, clear water, tons of fish, a symbol of power. On the other, murky, stagnant water where aquatic life is sick or just gone. It's a symbol of struggle. It's the complete opposite of what a river should be. And this pollution leads to something truly awful called dead zones. See, all those fertilizers from farms cause huge explosions of algae. But when that algae dies, the process of it rotting sucks all the oxygen out of the water. For the fish, it's like they're being told to hold their breath forever. It's just impossible for them to survive. Okay, so that's pretty grim. But, and this is a big but, the story does not have to end here. This is where we come in. This is our call to action. We can actually become the heroes of this story. We can be the river's helpers. And the best part, you don't have to be a superhero. We're talking about simple things that make a huge difference. Like, don't throw your trash down a storm drain. Turn off the tap. Use better soaps. Don't pour grease down the sink. Plant a tree. Little things, when we all do them, add up to a massive impact. And it's not just about our personal habits either. There is so much cool innovation happening. That's why I love this slide. It shows how we can use our brains, science, technology, engineering, to tackle these problems. Things like building better filters, designing little skimmers to clean up oil spills. It's about being creative and solving the problem. So this brings us to the final part of our story today, and really the main takeaway. A river's journey, it's not just something we watch from the sidelines. In a lot of ways, it's a reflection of our own journey. When we understand the journey of a river, we begin to understand the journey of life itself. That really says it all, right? When you follow that water from a tiny trickle all the way to the huge ocean, you see growth, you see struggle, you see strength, and you can't help but see parallels to our own lives. In the end, the river is a great teacher. It shows us that life is full of twists and turns. It teaches us about being resilient. It shows us that there's always a chance for renewal, even after things get tough. And maybe most importantly, it's a powerful reminder that we all have a responsibility to take care of these incredible lifelines. So think about the river or stream closest to you. It has a story, it's seen things, it's been on an incredible journey. So the last question I want to leave you with is a simple one. Are you listening?